The safest place for your money might be the very thing quietly making you poorer. That sounds wrong, doesn't it? After all, almost everyone grows up hearing the same advice. Work hard, spend less than you earn, put your money in a savings account, leave it there. You'll be fine. It feels responsible. It feels safe. It feels like exactly what financially smart people should do. But what if that advice is only half true? What if the biggest risk isn't losing your money, but slowly losing what your money can actually buy? And what if the system has quietly convinced millions of people that they're making financial progress, when year after year, they're simply standing still? The truth is, banks don't need to lie to you directly. They don't have to. They simply let you believe that saving money and growing money are the same thing. They aren't. There's a difference between protecting your cash and protecting your future. Understanding that difference could completely change the way you think about money for the rest of your life. Imagine two co-workers. They both earn similar salaries. They both avoid expensive vacations. Neither wastes money on flashy cars. Neither has credit card debt. Both believe they're doing everything right. At the end of every month, one transfers part of each paycheck into a savings account. The other does something slightly different. He also saves. But after building enough cash for emergencies, he starts putting the rest somewhere that has the chance to grow over time. 5 years pass, then 10. Their financial lives begin to look completely different. Not because one worked harder, not because one got lucky, not because one earned twice as much. The difference came from one simple misunderstanding about what a savings account is actually designed to do. Most people never stop to ask a very important question. What is a savings account really for? Banks have done an incredible job making us feel like the answer is obvious. They tell us to save. Parents tell us to save. Schools tell us to save. Financial responsibility becomes almost identical to having money sitting in a savings account. And saving is absolutely important. But somewhere along the way, people began expecting savings accounts to do a job they were never built to do. A savings account is not designed to build wealth. It's designed to protect cash. Those are two very different goals. Think about a bicycle helmet. A helmet protects your head. It does its job well. But you wouldn't expect it to help you win a bicycle race. Protection and performance are different things. A savings account is your financial helmet. It protects money you'll need soon. Money for emergencies. Money for next month's rent. Money for unexpected medical bills. Money for the washing machine that suddenly stops working. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. The problem starts when people expect that same account to build the future they dream about. Buying a home, retiring comfortably, helping their children through school, starting a business, leaving work earlier than expected. Those goals usually require something that a savings account simply isn't built to provide. Growth. Here's where many people unknowingly fall into the biggest trap. Every month, they feel proud watching their balance increase. 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. The numbers keep getting bigger. It feels like wealth. But is it? Imagine you placed $10,000 inside a box. You locked the box. Came back 10 years later. The money would still be there. Every single dollar. Nothing disappeared. But could that same $10,000 buy exactly what it could buy 10 years earlier? Probably not. Prices change. Groceries become more expensive. Rent increases. Cars cost more. Healthcare becomes more expensive. Education becomes more expensive. Life rarely gets cheaper. This quiet force works every single day, whether we notice it or not. It's like trying to walk up a down-moving escalator. You think you're standing still. In reality, you're slowly moving backward, unless you keep climbing. This is why looking only at your bank balance can be misleading. Your balance tells you how much money you have. It doesn't tell you what that money can actually do for you. And that's a huge difference. Let's say Sarah spends years building an emergency fund. She feels proud every time she checks her account. She should. Saving consistently is something many people struggle to do. Then one day, she starts shopping for her first home. Suddenly, she realizes something frustrating. The amount she worked so hard to save doesn't stretch nearly as far as she expected. House prices have climbed. Building materials have become more expensive. Mortgage costs have changed. The target moved while she was standing still. Did Sarah fail? No. She did something responsible. She simply expected one financial tool to solve every financial problem. It's a little like using a refrigerator to cook dinner. The refrigerator isn't broken. It was never designed for cooking. The same idea applies to savings accounts. They're incredibly useful, just not for everything. Banks understand this better than almost anyone. Think about how a bank works. When you deposit your money, It doesn't simply sit untouched inside a giant vault waiting for you. Banks put money to work. They lend it, they invest it, they earn from it. Your deposit becomes part of a much bigger financial machine. Meanwhile, you feel comfortable because your money is safely stored. Again, that's not a bad thing. Safety matters. In fact, safety is one of the biggest reasons savings accounts exist. But here's the question very few people ask. If banks understand that money should keep working, why do so many ordinary people believe their own money should spend decades sitting completely still? That belief quietly shapes financial lives. A young professional receives a raise. Instead of creating a long-term investment plan, they simply increase the amount going into savings. A couple delays learning about investing because they think they'll start later. Someone inherits money. It sits untouched for years because moving it feels risky. Ironically, doing nothing also carries risk. It's simply a quieter kind of risk, one you don't notice day to day. Think about a parked car. Leave it outside long enough. Dust gathers. The battery weakens. The tires slowly lose pressure. Even though nobody is driving it, time is still affecting it. Money behaves in a surprisingly similar way. Leaving it completely still doesn't stop time from changing the world around it. That's why wealthy people often think differently about cash. Notice something interesting. Many financially successful people don't ask, "Where can I keep all my money?" Instead, they ask, "How much cash do I actually need available?" Those sound similar. They're completely different questions. The first question leads towards storing everything. The second leads toward giving every dollar a specific job. Some dollars protect today, other dollars build tomorrow. That simple shift changes everything. The emergency fund protects your present. Long-term investments work toward your future. Daily spending supports your lifestyle. Each dollar has a purpose. Instead of one account trying to do every job, each financial tool does what it was designed to do. And once you understand that idea, another question naturally appears. If a savings account isn't supposed to build wealth, then what actually does? That question changes everything. Because once you stop asking, "Where should I keep my money?" and start asking, "What job should each dollar do?" your entire financial strategy begins to shift. Let's go back to those two co-workers. Remember them? They started in almost the exact same place. Same salary, similar lifestyle, similar bills. Neither was reckless. Neither was trying to get rich overnight. The first co-worker believed that saving more was always the answer. Every extra dollar went into a savings account. Watching the balance grow became proof that he was making progress. The second co-worker also valued saving, but he made one important decision. He set a target for his emergency fund. Once he reached it, he stopped treating every extra dollar the same. Instead, he gave those dollars a new job. Some went into long-term investments. Some helped him learn new skills that increased his earning power. Some paid down high-interest debt faster. Every dollar was still working for him. It was simply working in different ways. At first, their financial lives looked almost identical. After 1 year, there wasn't much difference. After 2 years, still very little. If you compared their bank accounts, you might even think the first co-worker was doing better. But wealth doesn't always reveal itself quickly. That's one of the biggest reasons people lose patience. We're trained to expect fast results. Fast internet, fast deliveries, fast promotions, fast success. Money doesn't usually work that way. Building wealth is often quiet. It's almost boring. The biggest changes happen so slowly that you barely notice them while they're happening. Then one day, you look back and realize you're standing somewhere completely different. Think about planting a tree. For weeks, nothing seems to happen. You water it, protect it, wait. The ground looks exactly the same. Then one morning, a small green shoot appears. Years later, that tiny seed has become something strong enough to provide shade. Money grows in much the same way. The hardest part isn't waiting. It's trusting the process, while nothing exciting seems to be happening. This is where many people accidentally sabotage themselves. They save faithfully for years. Then they see someone online making huge profits from a trendy investment. Suddenly, steady progress feels too slow. They abandon their plan. They chase excitement instead of consistency. But here's something worth remembering. Wealth is rarely built by making one brilliant financial decision. It's usually built by making hundreds of ordinary decisions over a very long time. Packing lunch instead of buying it every day. Avoiding lifestyle inflation after getting a raise. Keeping an emergency fund. Paying bills on time. Investing consistently. Learning before acting. None of these decisions feel dramatic. Yet together, They can completely change someone's financial future. Now let's talk about something that catches almost everyone by surprise. Lifestyle inflation. Imagine getting promoted at work. It's exciting, you've earned it. Your paycheck gets bigger. At first, you tell yourself nothing will change. But slowly, almost without noticing, your spending begins to grow too. A nicer apartment, a newer phone, more food deliveries, premium subscriptions, weekend shopping trips, a more expensive car. None of these purchases seem unreasonable on their own. After all, you're earning more, but something interesting happens. Every raise that should have increased your wealth quietly increases your monthly expenses instead. Before long, you're making twice as much as you did 5 years ago, yet your financial stress feels almost exactly the same. How is that possible? Because your income changed, but your financial system didn't. Your money simply flowed into a more expensive version of the same life. That's why many people who earn impressive salaries still feel trapped. Their problem isn't always income. Sometimes it's direction. Money without a plan tends to disappear. Money with a purpose tends to multiply its impact. This brings us back to the savings account. Many people use it almost like a waiting room. Their money sits there month after month because they haven't decided what comes next. There's nothing wrong with waiting briefly. Sometimes waiting is wise. But if years go by and every financial decision remains, "I'll deal with it," later, your money may spend far more time standing still than moving you toward your goals. Think about someone who wants to travel across the country. Packing the car is important. Checking the tires matters. Filling the fuel tank is smart. But eventually, they have to start driving. Preparation is not the destination. Saving is preparation, not the finish line. This is one of the biggest mindset shifts that separates financially confident people from financially frustrated people. They don't celebrate saving because the number in the account looks impressive. They celebrate because every dollar now has a clear mission. Some dollars protect them from emergencies. Some dollars create future income. Some dollars improve their education or career. Some dollars allow them to enjoy life without guilt. Notice something. Every dollar has a purpose. Very few dollars are simply waiting. Another misunderstanding keeps many people stuck. People often think investing means taking huge risks. Movies don't help. Social media doesn't help. News headlines don't help. Whenever investing appears on television, it's usually someone making millions overnight, or losing everything in a dramatic crash. Real life is much quieter than that. For most ordinary working professionals, investing isn't about finding the next miracle opportunity. It's about owning small pieces of productive businesses or broad markets over long periods of time. It's about consistency more than excitement. It's about patience more than prediction. It's about allowing time to become your partner instead of your enemy. And here's something many people never realize. Doing nothing is also a financial decision. Choosing not to learn about investing, choosing not to create a long-term plan, choosing to leave every extra dollar sitting in the same place for decades. Those are choices too. They may feel safer because nothing appears to be happening. But the future is still moving. Prices continue changing. Life continues changing. Opportunities continue passing by. Financial confidence doesn't come from hoping things work out. It comes from understanding why your money is sitting where it is. That understanding removes fear, because once every dollar has a purpose, you stop wondering whether you're doing enough. You know why your emergency fund exists. You know why you're investing. You know why you're budgeting. Every part of your financial life begins supporting every other part. And that's when something surprising happens. Money starts creating peace instead of stress. Not because you suddenly became rich, but because your financial life finally makes sense. There's one final lesson that ties all of this together. It's a lesson that many people don't discover until much later in life. And once they understand it, they often wish someone had told them years earlier. That lesson is this. The goal was never to collect the biggest savings account. The goal was always to build the strongest financial life. Those two things can look similar from the outside, but they are not the same. A large savings account can give you a sense of security. A strong financial system gives you actual resilience. Think about a house. From the street, two houses might look almost identical. The paint is fresh, the windows shine, the gardens are neat. But beneath the surface, one house has a solid foundation, while the other has cracks hidden below the ground. You can't see the difference on the first day, but over time, one house stands firm through storms, while the other begins to fail. Your finances work the same way. The balance in your savings account is only one part of the picture. The real strength comes from the foundation you've built underneath it. Do you have an emergency fund? Do you spend less than you earn? Do you avoid high-interest debt whenever possible? Do you have a plan for money you'll need next month? Do you have a different plan for money you won't need for 10 or 20 years? Can your finances handle an unexpected setback? If the answer to those questions is yes, you're building something much more valuable than a large bank balance. You're building financial confidence. And confidence is different from comfort. Comfort says, I hope everything goes according to plan. Confidence says, even if life surprises me, I've prepared for it. That's an important difference, because life will surprise you. The car will eventually need repairs. A medical bill may appear. A company may downsize. An appliance may stop working. None of those events are unusual. They're simply part of life. That's why your emergency fund deserves respect. It's not lazy money. It's not wasted money. It's money performing one of the most important jobs it can have. It buys you time, and time is one of the most valuable financial assets you'll ever own. Imagine losing your job tomorrow. If you have no emergency savings, every decision becomes urgent. You may feel forced to accept the first job that comes along, even if it pays less or isn't right for you. But if you've built a solid emergency fund, something changes. You gain breathing room, you gain options, you gain the ability to make better decisions instead of desperate ones. That's exactly why emergency savings matter. The mistake isn't having one. The mistake is expecting it to do everything. A hammer is a wonderful tool, but you wouldn't use it to tighten a screw. In the same way, a savings account is an excellent tool. It's just not designed to grow long-term wealth on its own. Once you stop asking one financial tool to solve every problem, your entire approach becomes simpler. You stop feeling guilty for investing after your emergency fund is complete. You stop measuring success by the size of one account. You start measuring success by whether every dollar is doing its job. That single shift can remove a surprising amount of financial stress. Because many people secretly worry they're making the wrong decisions. Should they save more? Should they invest? Should they pay off debt first? Should they keep more cash? The truth is, there isn't one perfect answer for everyone. But there is one principle that almost always leads to better decisions. Give every dollar a purpose. When money has no purpose, it tends to disappear. When money has a clear purpose, it begins working with the rest of your financial life, instead of sitting on the sidelines. That's the hidden truth behind the title of this video. The lie isn't that savings accounts are bad. They aren't. They're one of the most useful financial tools you can have. The real misunderstanding is believing they're supposed to do a job they were never designed to do. Banks benefit when people keep their money there. There's nothing wrong with that. Providing a safe place for cash is one of the valuable services banks offer. But your financial future depends on understanding the difference between saving money and growing money. Saving protects, growing builds. You need both. One without the other leaves your financial life incomplete. Imagine trying to ride a bicycle with only one pedal. You could still move, but every journey would be harder than it needs to be. Financial success works much the same way. Protection and growth move together. One keeps you steady, the other moves you forward. And perhaps the best part is that you don't have to change everything overnight. You don't need to become an expert this weekend. You don't need to predict the stock market. You don't need to chase the latest financial trend. You simply need to become a little more intentional than you were yesterday. Start by understanding what each dollar is meant to do. Keep your emergency fund where it's safe and easy to access. Create a simple budget that reflects your priorities. Reduce expensive debt if you have it. Then begin learning about long-term investing at a pace you're comfortable with. Small steps repeated consistently are usually more powerful than dramatic changes that only last a few weeks. That's how lasting wealth is built. Quietly, patiently, one good decision at a time. So before you close this video, I want to leave you with one final thought. Don't judge your financial progress by how much money is sitting in one account. Judge it by how many of your dollars have a meaningful purpose. When every dollar has a job, your money stops sitting still and starts helping build the future you want. Here's a simple challenge you can complete within the next 24 hours. Open your banking app or look at your latest account balances. Ask yourself one question. What job is each of these dollars doing? If the answer is, I'm not sure, don't feel discouraged. That's not a failure. It's an opportunity. Write down 4 simple categories: everyday spending, emergency savings, short-term goals, long-term wealth. Now decide where your money belongs. You don't have to move everything today. Just create a plan. Because the biggest difference between people who stay financially stuck and people who steadily build wealth isn't usually how much they earn. It's that they stop letting their money sit without direction. They give every dollar a purpose. And over time, those purposeful decisions become something extraordinary. Not overnight, not through luck, but through consistency. That's how ordinary working professionals quietly build extraordinary financial lives. And it all begins by understanding one simple truth. A savings account is one of the safest places for your money. It was just never meant to be the only place your financial future lives.